Hello, and welcome to UKPF Extra. In this past week, I became aware of an article on dailymail.com which was of interest. The article itself seems to be entirely sourced from a website called The Drive, which is what I shall reference for this episode. The article itself seems to have been highly researched based on freedom of information data, which is referenced and shared throughout the post. I shall not recite the full article verbatim, but will give you an overview of what is being reported. The headline reads, "Multiple destroyers were swarmed by mysterious drones off California over numerous nights." In July of 2019, a truly bizarre series of events unfolded around California's Channel Islands. Over a number of days, groups of unidentified aircraft, which the US Navy simply refer to as drones or UAVs, pursued that service's vessels, prompting a high-level investigation. During the evening encounters, as many as 6 aircraft were reported swarming around the ships at once. The drones were described as flying for prolonged periods in low visibility conditions and performing brazen maneuvers over the Navy warships near a sensitive military training range less than 100 miles off Los Angeles. The ensuing investigation included elements of the Navy, Coast Guard, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The incidents received major attention, including from the Chief of Naval Operations, the apex of the Navy's chain of command. The following is our own investigation into these events, during which we discovered these events were far more extensive in scale than previously understood. Last year, documentary filmmaker Dave Beatty uncovered initial details about the events centering on the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer USS Kidd. That initial account described a tense encounter, culminating in the deployment of onboard intelligence teams. By using the USS Kidd's position as a starting point, we were able to identify several other ships in close proximity to it during the incidents in question, including the US Navy destroyers USS Rafael Peralta, USS Russell, USS John Finn, and the USS Paul Hamilton. Subsequent FOIA requests for these ships' records allowed us to build a composite picture of the events as a whole. And here's where I'll give you the summarised version of events, as the article does go into great detail. An initial UAV sighting is made by the USS Kidd at around 10 PM, UAV being shorthand for Unmanned Aerial Vehicle. Their Snoopy team, or Ship's Nautical or Otherwise Photographic Interpretation and Exploration team, is tasked with monitoring the UAV. The USS Kidd has some of the most sophisticated sensors and cameras on Earth, which are operated by some of the best trained operators. The USS Kidd enters into a condition of restricted communications, while a threat assessment is carried out. Within 10 minutes, the USS Kidd advises the nearby USS Rafael Peralta of the situation. The USS Rafael Peralta engages their own Snoopy team. Soon after, the USS John Finn contacts the group to confirm they too have sightings of UAVs, noting that a red flashing light was spotted. In the ship's logs, the USS Rafael Peralta notes that a white light is seen hovering steadily above the ship's flight deck. It is able to match the ship's speed, which was currently 16 knots. Given the low light conditions, this was a remarkable feat if the supposed drone was being remotely piloted. The UAVs continued to be monitored by several vessels for over 90 minutes. Night 2, 15th of July 2019. The USS Rafael Peralta is the first to observe UAV activity, and the Snoopy team is deployed. At 9:20 PM, the log shows multiple UAVs round ship. At approximately the same time, the USS Russell reports a frenzy of UAV sightings at different locations, and notes that these are observed manoeuvring forwards and backwards and from left to right. The USS Rafael Peralta receives a radio communication from a passing cruise ship, the Carnival Imagination, notifying them of sightings of 5 or 6 UAVs and confirming they did not launch from their vessel. The sightings continued into the evening, with the USS Rafael Peralta logging multiple sightings of between 2 and 4 UAVs. The USS Russell reports the final sighting at 11:51 p.m. During the lengthy period of time across the 2 evenings, the Snoopy teams are unable to positively identify the type of craft or drone which has been observed. After these events, an official investigation was launched and seems to have been coordinated between Naval Intelligence, the Coast Guard and the FBI. And in the FOI emails, we see that it is noted that their findings will be reported to the Commander of the Pacific Fleet and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The investigators concluded a couple of important points. Firstly, there is no commercially available drone available from anywhere around the world that would match the description of these UAVs in terms of flight time, manoeuvrability and flight capability. Additionally, numerous civilian ships which had been in the area were all identified and examined over the following days, and all of which were eventually ruled out as being the launching platform for whatever it was the Navy had witnessed, though there is much more detail about this in the Drives article. On July 25th, the UAV sighting started up again and repeated on the 30th of July. Ultimately, neither the Snoopy teams nor the official investigation were able to establish the source or type of drone spotted. However, Dave Beatty tweeted some very compelling and additional information back on the 10th of June 2020, and he said, regarding 2019 USS Kidd UAP, Navy vet said his friend said, quote, he could see them with the naked eye and they were almost eye level with the bridge hovering. They were the same tic-tac shaped objects. This is the same area the Nimitz encounters took place. When we bring all of this information together, and if we respect the integrity of the sources and of the information presented, we seem to only have 3 possibilities. Firstly, a rival to the US has developed aircraft capabilities which far exceed that which the US itself admits to being in possession of, and that rival power was using this technology within the proximity of the US Pacific Fleet on those evenings. Secondly, the theorized US Black Ops or Shadow Government has the aforementioned technology and deployed it on those nights against their own ships. Perhaps as a test, or perhaps for a more as yet not understood nefarious reason. Or thirdly, it was something else. And by something else, I of course mean that these devices are of non-human origin. In Commander Fravor's account of the Nimitz incident, the Tic-Tac vessel he encountered seemed to be rendezvousing with a second submerged vessel. He also noted that the Navy was seeing these craft frequently on radar and other tracking devices, suggesting that Commander Fravor's encounter was not of these 2 vessels by chance, but perhaps part of what I might term a regular convoy. In this latest 2019 account, that's last nugget of information that these were tic-tac shaped vessels is a key one, and lends to the idea that these UAVs are of a similar technology and origin to the craft Commander Fravor encountered in that same region. And whilst the story on thedrive.com and on the Daily Mail has focused on detailing what the US Navy encountered in the air those nights, I find myself wondering what was going on below the waves. The frequency of sightings in that Pacific region extends well beyond these 2 accounts, and it was theorized decades ago that there might actually be an alien base submerged somewhere off the coast of California or Mexico. I wonder too, what was the purpose of the different coloured lights? Were these coordinated in any way? And could the different coloured lights have been an attempt to communicate basic information to the Navy? For example, is a red light, "Don't go this way," and a white light a clue to proceed? This is not discussed in either article, so it's a stretch on my behalf, but I do wonder what the possible purpose of a potential off-world intelligence would have in swarming the ships on those evenings. And maybe it was an attempt to herd them towards something, or away from a potential hazard. But maybe that's just me overthinking things. So if these are aliens, what are they doing? Should we lend more credence to the notion of submerged bases? If they exist, does that mean that these aliens have a permanent presence here on Earth? And when you start to think about that, my mind starts to wonder if they've just got here or if they've been here all along. And of course, the most problematic line of thought then becomes to wonder about their intentions towards humanity. And there are several chilling rabbit holes that we can go down then. So I'd better leave it there. Anyway, it was an interesting report, so I wanted to share it. Why don't you let me know what you think is going on in the Pacific down in the comments. Let me know too what you think these Tic Tac vessels are, and whether you think we need to be worried about them. Please click the like button too, so YouTube knows this video is a good one. I have 2 channels now, this one and UK Paranormal Files, so if you haven't already, please consider giving them both a subscribe. And if you do, please also turn on notifications so you'll know when a new video comes out. Anyway, all that's left for me to say is, thanks very much for watching.